credit note or written order. So we don't have the concept of written order here in, I mean, we have that concept anyway. We're going to discuss it now. So let's say suppose vendor has delivered me some goods and I don't feel like the goods are in proper place. Actually, I have invoiced the goods also. Sometimes I can also pay the invoice, but I don't feel like the goods are working properly or the goods are not in proper situation. So I feel like I can return the goods because I still have the return policy that I can return the goods if they are not performing well. Within 30 days, I can return the goods. So I have my time of returning. I want to return the goods to the particular vendor from whom I have received the goods and invoiced them. So in that case, you will inform the vendor that goods are not proper and you are going to return the goods, and you will create a credit note in the accounts payable for returning such goods. So let's see how you can create a return order or credit note. Both are same in the accounts payable actually. How you can create that and how you can return the goods to the vendors. So for that, you have to go to the same purchase orders page, all purchase orders. You can create a new purchase order. Select the vendor. Suppose let's say I'm selecting Tata company to return the goods. And from which site and warehouse you are going to return the goods. From site warehouse number 11 and site 1 only. The goods are placed in that warehouse only. I'm going to return them from that warehouse only. Let's say suppose. Next, here you have order type, purchase order type. It's not a purchase order since you are not going to buy anything. You are going to return, right? So you can select a returned order here. You are going to return the goods. So when you select returned order, automatically the address of the vendor is selected here. Earlier it used to be your address to which address the goods has to be delivered. But now since you selected returned order here, automatically the vendor address is selected here so that the goods are returned to the vendor address, Tata company business address. If you want to change it, you can change it to another address. But it's showing our address here, not the company's address. So that's how written order work, and you can give an RMA number. It's a written material authorization number actually. Like something you can give something like RMA 45 here. So the main important thing is this one, returned order. You have to keep this purchase type as a returned order. Okay. Click on OK. So here you can see you can directly select an item. Suppose you can select this cricket ball, let's say as an example, and quantity, how much quantity you are returning. So you can give quantity as -10, means -10 indicates that you are returning the goods to the vendor. Normally, if you give 10 means you are buying the goods from the vendor, but -10 indicates that you are returning the goods to the vendor. So it's what we call as a negative line. So -10, quantity of, I mean, unit price of 100 and net amount is 1000. So automatically a negative can be created. Or suppose that you have that idea of which purchase order, goods of which purchase order you are going to return, then you can directly copy the lines from that purchase order only. So how we can do it, let's see. So you can also manually add line like this, or you can remove the line. Let's say you want to create a credit note. You have the option here. Click on this purchase order line. Before adding the line, click on purchase order line. You have the option of credit note here, new credit note. Click on credit note. So you will see all the purchase orders that you have created, purchase orders as well as the invoices that you have created for this vendor, Tata company. All of them will be visible here. So for which particular purchase order invoice you are going to create this written order, you can select. Let's say suppose I am going to do it for this one, purchase order number 5, where there are two items, cricket ball as well as leather cricket ball. Two items are there. So total amount of the order is 2500. You can also see the lines here in the line level. There are two lines for that order, 10 cricket balls and 10 leather cricket balls. So if you want to return only cricket balls in this order, not this one, this leather cricket balls are fine if you feel. And if you want to return only this product, you can select this one. You can deselect this one and only select that one. And within that, you want to return only 5 of them, not 10 of them. You can change it to 5. So only 5 will be returned. Suppose if you click on OK, automatically a line will be created with -5 quantity here. See here, line with cricket ball of -5 quantity, 100 is taken here, automatically created. So that's how you can copy the already created purchase order lines also, which you want to reverse here. And or you can copy entire order. 2 lines will be copied. You can remove one order. You can remove one line and change the quantity here at the line level also. Suppose if you feel like it's not 5, it should be 6. You can change it to 6, no problem. Or if you want to reverse the entire order, you can copy the entire order lines here. So that's what we're gonna do now. I'll remove this line as well. You're gonna go back to purchase order line, go to credit note. Or if you want to reverse the 2, 3 orders, you can also select two orders also. Suppose here I'll select purchase order number 5, since I have only one invoice. But for purchase order number 3, I have 3 invoices, I think. So if you want to return purchase order number 9 as well as purchase order number 5 as well as purchase order number 9, you can select. Actually, it's not about purchase orders. It shows the invoices, list of invoices. According to the invoices list, you can do it. I'll show you this one. Which invoice you want to reverse, you can select. Invoice number 3, 3.2, 3.3 we have. Invoice number 5657 we have. If you want to reverse both these invoices, you can select both of them. So all the goods will appear here. If you click on OK, selected 2 invoices, right? You want to return those goods. So the lines related to both the invoices. Invoice number 5657 and the other invoice. Both of them are here, 4 lines. And all of them in the negative quantity you can see. And you can also see the lines as well. So you can copy the order lines automatically, or you can manually enter the lines also if you want. If you want to add one more line, you can manually enter one more line as well. It's your wish, but the quantity should be always negative if at all you are going to post a credit note. So now let's see how it will work. Again, I'll just copy only one order just for the sake of easy example. I'll take this one and click on OK. Here I have 2 lines, 10 quantity and 10 quantity, 1000 and 1500, total of 2500. Let's say you have to follow the same procedure again. Confirm the order, saying that confirming the vendor that you are going to deliver these goods or return these goods to him. Then you can post a product receipt. Posting product receipt means it's a kind of delivery from your side. You are going to release the goods from your warehouse to the vendor. So you can say, you can give us something number like RMA 45. That's what you gave earlier, right? So negative quantity of 10, 10, negative amount of 2005. Click on OK. So there is an error. Let's see what is this error is up to. Item number 60, specify return action. Okay. Return action should be somewhere here. Where is this written action? Let's see where it is. Here it is, sorry, under setup. We don't have any written actions. Let's create some written actions. Written action. Damaged good. Kind of reason code actually. Damaged good return to vendor. Let's see. I'll add it here. written action under setup in the line level I have. Also for this leather cricket ball, I'll add the same written action. You can create many written actions if you want to. If there are various reasons, you can create various reasons. Come on. So here you can select this one. Okay. Then refresh this. Order status will changed. Okay, it's still confirmed. Then okay. You're gonna receive product received. You can give the same RMA 45, 2 lines, and click on OK. Then you see the goods are in the received state, which means you have returned the goods. You can also see the accounting entry for this since it is a return order. You can see the accounting entry here in the. Usually when you buy a straight goods or create a normal purchase order, inventory received account will be debited and accrued purchase account will be credited. But since it is a return order, your accounting is done in reverse actually. Inventory received account will be credited with 2500, accrued purchase account will be debited with 2500. Just a reversal accounting. So everything will be in reverse only if you are creating a credit note actually. So that's how inventory account usually which has to be debited is credited here since it's a written order. And then you can post the invoice. So we can go to the invoice. I think you have automatic charges added it here in the order. Actually, since we have that automatic charges applied here are added. I'll just remove the automatic charges since we are returning the goods. And when we bought the goods, we don't have any charges, right? So I removed it, as well as in the order line also I'll have an automatic charge rate. Maintain charges. So I don't have any here, so there's nothing to remove. Wonderful. For this also, I think I don't have any other charges. Nothing else here. Okay, you can also check the purchase order totals before you do that. It should be 2500, not more than that. So it is 2500, no charges applicable. Okay. But now you see the order status as here, I mean, the confirmation status has changed to approved. Since you have made some changes on the order, again, you have to confirm the purchase order before you have to proceed with the invoice. Otherwise, you cannot post the invoice. It says that order is not confirmed. Now you can go to purchase and confirm it once again. So it's confirmed. Now you can go to invoice and generate the invoice. So we can RMA Tata 5657 something you can give and give an invoice date as on suppose let's say on Monday. You have your two negative quantity here appearing 10 10 and 100 150. So 1000 and 1500 total of 2500. You can update the match status. It should be passed. And you can post it. So that's all. It is invoiced now. The order is. You can go and check the invoice. Go to invoice journals. Go to the voucher. And you can see the voucher here clearly. Accounts payable account is debited here since it's a written order. And inventory invoiced account is credited here. It's not the usual case. Earlier, normally when you do a normal purchase order, since you receive the inventory invoiced account will be debited and accounts payable account will be credited. But since it's a written order here, you will have reverse accounting here, which would decrease the amount of the vendor, or I mean decrease the amount that we have to pay to the vendor. So that's how a credit note is created, or a credit note invoice is created. So what happens when credit note invoice is created is, I'll show you. Let me take you to the product information management. I'll show you the impacts, all the sites. So I'm going to release it products. So there are actually two things in a product. When inventory movement, for the inventory movement of a product, we have two things: issue of the inventory, receipt of the inventory. When you buy goods, it is receipt of the inventory. When you sell goods, it is called issue of the inventory. Okay, or when you use that inventory for production purpose, then also it is called as issue of inventory. So that you can identify here in the product. Here in the product, you can see, not sorry, in the manage inventory, you can see on hand inventory and transactions, both of them. If you see on hand inventory, it will show you the number of items available in the inventory. If you go for transactions, it will show you the inventory transactions that are posted until for this item. So you can see here. So what all we have done is this purchase order. You can see earlier what all you have purchased, it is showing up here. But since you have returned some goods, you can see this one. 10 items are returned, right? So it is showing on the sold side, or since it's returned, it is showing on the issue side. So this is all the receipt side we have seen until you have created purchase order number 13, right? Now that's what you have done, purchase order number 13. So you have returned the goods. So you can see -10 quantity here. So you can see all the plus and minus of inventory, receipts, issues, as well as adjustments here in the transactions list under the vendor, sorry, under the item. So that's how. And you can also see the same on the accounts payable. I mean, under the all vendors, you can see both the transactions now, the invoice as well as the credit note. Both of them will show up. Credit note, invoice, both of them will show up. Let's see. Suppose this vendor, right? Tata company. Select him. Go to vendor and go to transactions. I'll only go for open transactions. So I can see there is this invoice, and there, as well as there is some other invoice. This invoice which we have. Actually, this is the positive invoice which we have posted on 13th of December. This is the return order invoice. So you can see the amount is showing on this side. When you see the original invoice, the balance amount is showing as 2000 minus 2500, which we have to pay to the vendor. Whereas when you see the reverse invoice or the credit note invoice, you can see the positive amount which you have to receive from the vendor. So now what you can do is, since you have not made any payments or settled to this invoice, you can directly settle this credit note to this invoice. You can do that since it is on the other side and this amount is on the other side. You can settle both of them. Sometimes you might have paid amount to the invoice, already settled this original invoice with that payment amount. At that time, you don't have any option, right? When you create a credit note, you will ask for the reimbursement amount from the vendor or refund amount from the vendor. So you can also post another refund payment transaction and settle it with this credit note. So trade will be settled. Or if you do not make any payment, so you have the original invoice open and credit note both are open, you can settle both of them. Since there are no payment transaction involved, there is no refund also that has to be done by the vendor. You directly return the goods to him and everything is settled over there itself, since you did not make any payment transactions with him earlier. So that's how. Now you can settle both of them. Select this original invoice, go to settlement, settle transactions. So you can select both the invoices again. Invoice original invoice number 5657, and this is RMA, return invoice number 56 and 57. You can click on post and both of them will get settled since they are of the same amount. Done. See, they are removed from the open transactions list since they are settled now. If you show all, you can show all. 2500 is this one here, and you don't have any pending balance on this since it is settled. With this one, you can see here also you don't have any pending balance. Sorry, where is this gone somewhere? 5657. Here it is. So we don't have any pending balance here. That's all. That's how the credit notes are created and settled with the original invoices. In case if the original invoices are not settled with payments. In case if they are settled with payments, for the credit notes, you will receive any refund amount from the vendor that you can post a payment journal where you can post a payment journal crediting the vendor. Since you are receiving the amount and debiting your bank account, you can do that in the vendor payment journal only. You can always post a reverse transaction also manually, and you can settle that with the credit note for the refund transaction. And what all we are left over. So that would be all. If I go to this one, sorry, order, go back. Now I can see that as a returned order here in the list of orders. All of them are purchase orders, but this is a returned order, which indicates that it is a credit note. And you see this is already invoiced. That's all. So that would be all for today, guys. And tomorrow we'll discuss about very important concept, invoice validations. What is this invoice validations? How this works in Dynamics? We'll discuss tomorrow. And in the later class, we'll discuss about inquiries and reports and accounts payable parameters that would end up with accounts that would end up the accounts payable module. Since it's a very important module, we took some time. Then we'll move to the accounts receivable module from the other class. So it will take 2 classes for the accounts payable to be completed.